Hello everybody, Big Beardy back again with another video, and today we're talking 10 things I hate about being a courier driver. So first of all, I just want to make this clear. I do not hate being a courier driver. I actually really enjoy my job. I love the freedom, I love seeing the country, I love meeting new people, and I love just being out on the road. So I actually do really enjoy my job. But like any job, there's stuff that gets on your tits and you just don't enjoy. Doesn't matter what job you do, there will always be these things. So today we are going to talk about the 10 things that really I do not enjoy, I hate about being a courier driver. So let's get into it. Number 1, invoicing. Now, we know we've all got to invoice. We've got to send invoices and PODs. My issue with this is simply the paper side of it. Why on earth in 2020 are we still sending paper copies out to shippers? And one of the problems is some shippers just want electronic, some people want just paper, some shippers want both. We should have moved past this, we should be paperless, but we're not. So Saturday morning when I usually do my invoices, it takes me 2-3 hours to get it all sorted, paper copies right on the envelopes, send the envelopes off, go to the post office, when it should be a 10-minute job because everything's already been done electronically. Gets on my tits. Plus, obviously, you're wasting paper. Ink is the most expensive thing ever made. Apparently, I don't know why, but it costs a fortune. Stamps, they're more expensive than Spanish gold now. If you buy a booklet of stamps, it costs you a small fortune. So, it's just one of those things that shouldn't be anymore. There are things on this list that will change. This is one of these things that I know at some point will not be an issue anymore. But at the moment, it is. Shippers and customers and everything need to sort their stuff out and get it just down to paperless. It would make life a lot more easier. So that's that one. Number 2, incorrect information on jobs. Does my nut in. It doesn't happen very often, but I've had 3 or 4 situations where the info's been just wrong. It's either the size of what you're collecting, where you're going to, what time you've got to be there, or what the job actually entails. I had a job which was it palleted on a load of monitors, going to a office, and it said light handballing. Light handballing to me is you're taking them off the van by hand. They wanted these things taken into the offices. It took me an hour and a half. It should have, in the description, said more than it did, and I should have found out a bit more before, but it's described wrong. It's not light handballing. That's a lot of handballing. Also, I had a job, was get there ASAP. I think I was collecting about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I got there about 7. The place was closed. I phoned the ship and it said, sorry, it should say it needed to be there the next morning. These are things that will happen. They're always going to happen. But when they do happen, they're really bloody annoying, and I bloody hate it. Number 3, waiting for work. It's the most frustrating thing in this industry. You've done a job, you've dropped off, you want to jump on that second job as quickly as possible, and you just can't win a job, and you're sat there, and as the minutes feel like hours, hours feel like days, and you just want to get on that other job because we know 5 o'clock, boom, everything dies. To get a job after 5 o'clock, you usually have to be in London or going into London from somewhere like Bristol or the Midlands. Apart from that, there's nothing. And if you've just dropped off at 3 o'clock and you're not winning that job, I can't describe it. It's torture. I just want to win the next job. Give me the job. So I hate waiting for work. It's the worst thing. That's number 3. Number 4 on my list. What have we got? Here we go. This is long hours. This is something that will always be part of the industry. If you're a driver, you will know this. Working long hours, you accept it. It's part of the industry. You are on the road. You've got to go from A to B. It takes a certain amount of time. Doesn't mean you don't have to hate it. You do it, but when you've done a 13, 14-hour day, hopefully you've made really good money, but it hurts. You don't want to be working that long. And being behind the wheel of a car or a van or whatever it is, it takes its toll on you. So long hours is one of those things that are always going to be there, but it doesn't mean I have to like it, so I don't. Number 5, what have we got for us? This is pretty specific to certain places. I'm looking at central London here, but big cities, London in particular, trying to park, trying to, you can find a place in a big city, like round the Bullring in Birmingham's one, places like that, and trying to find somewhere to park and unload without obstructing a road can be a nightmare. Like I said, London in particular, if you're in the, I've had to drop off in Soho once, and it took me an hour to find somewhere just to pull up, because I knew I would have to sit there for at least an hour to unload, because it was going into a building upstairs. It wasn't like a factory. There was no forklift. It was getting taken off by hand by the people that worked there and myself. Trying to find somewhere to park that wasn't a million miles away was a nightmare. So central cities, I do not like going into the middle of London. I don't think anyone does. And London's the worst. Compare that to other cities. Some cities are fantastic. You look at like where I live, Norwich is a very easy city to get around and park up. Ipswich is the same, that's pretty easy. Bristol, they've got a lot of roadworks there at the moment, so it's a bit more difficult. But generally, most cities are right. But London, central Birmingham can be difficult. Manchester can be difficult. So parking in these cities can be a nightmare. Here we go. Number 6 on the list is staying healthy. Very difficult when you're in the van all day. Keeping the weight off. Exercising. When I started doing this job, I ballooned, and I mean I ballooned. I went from, I think I was about 17.5 stone then, so I wasn't a small bloke anyway, and I went up to nearly 20. Seriously, I went massive, and then I was like, right, I'm doing it wrong. There's a few issues, and this is the problem. You snack when you're driving. You constantly want something to do because you're just sat there, so it's easy to snack. Every service station, there's a McDonald's or a Burger King or a KFC, and it's so easy to go, I'll just have one of them. Screw it. I ain't got long. I'll eat in my van whilst I'm driving. So easy to do that. And when you finish a day, you are generally knackered, and it's hard to get up and get motivated or go for go exercise. So this is an issue. One of the other issues with that is, obviously, if you are out tramping and you want to exercise, there's limited showers and facilities out there, so it's really difficult to sort of plan what you're going to do. You have to be very careful not to put on a lot of weight. You have to eat properly. You have to work out when you can. You have to get out of the van as often as you can to stretch your legs and just get moving. So putting on weight is a real issue in this industry. That's why, we've all seen them, truck drivers get out there and they're massive, and that's why. Number 7. Dead miles. Dead miles will kill your business. Dead miles are the worst thing. For those of you who don't know what dead miles are, it's basically you've dropped off a load and you're running empty to either go and pick up another load or get home or go and pick up a load. It's the miles where you're not making any money. The more miles you are making money with, the better you are. Some people prefer to get rid of their dead miles by driving to a pickup a long way away and then coming back. I do it the other way. I try and get a job as close to home as possible and then try and get a job back. Tramping is the best way of getting rid of dead miles, but you will, no matter what, have dead miles. So you have to plan them into your costs. And if you're doing too many dead miles, it's sucking money out your business. So you've got to be very careful to reduce those dead miles as much as possible. But we all hate them. Dead miles are the bane of our existence. Number 8. This is something I'm hoping will change in hopefully the near future. And it's the cost of petrol. It's the biggest expense you will have. It's not the insurance. It's not paying off the van. You will spend thousands and thousands on petrol. I'm hoping in the not so distant future there will be a decent electric van out there with great distance and great capacity, which will cut that cost down dramatically. But at the moment, petrol, diesel, whatever you want to call it, gas, if you're in America, that is the most expensive thing in our business. You have to calculate for how much you're going to spend on diesel, all the time. If you're having a really good week, you're going to be in the station, petrol station, every day, at least every other day. And you know, every time you go in, there's 80, there's 90, there's 70, there's £100, boom, gone. So hopefully that costs in the near future. You know, if Elon Musk carries on doing what he's doing, we might have an electric van by next year, which would be amazing. But at the moment, the problem is there's none big enough. I don't think there's an actual electric van out there which is aimed at couriers. If one of those came out, I will be jumping on that straight away, just to reduce my costs. Because you reduce the cost, you're increasing your how much money you're making. Simple as that. But petrol, diesel, gas, whatever you want to call it, I hate it. It costs too much. Right, number 9 on my list is something that happens, and I completely disagree with it, and it's poaching. People don't know what poaching is. It's when a shipper sends a courier into a job, and whilst that courier is there, they try and steal that customer for themselves. I am very careful when I speak to customers that I don't say something that could be construed as poaching. If a customer asks for my details, I will tell them I can't give them that information. It's very important, and I've had people say, "Oh, you know, my friend went in, he did this, he was trying to just drum up some business, and he got kicked off, you know, whatever app he was using. They didn't even warn him." Well, if you go in and you're poaching, you deserve to be kicked off. You're breaking the number 1 rule. You do not poach. You're going in for your shipper as them, and you're trying to steal their customers. There's no problem going into a customer and then going and speaking to next door and trying to get that customer, or somewhere you've never been in before. But poaching, for me, you know, there's a level of trust between the shipper and the courier. And that trust is you're going to do the job properly and you're not going to steal their customers. If you break that trust, you should be shunned. If you're out there and you're watching this and you've poached, don't do it again. And if you're new to the industry, I know sometimes it'd be tempting because you're in there, you're already talking to them. But it's just a big no-no, and I hate it. I've never had someone poach from me before. I've never been in that situation, but I know people that have, and how quickly that can ruin someone's business. If you're relying on a certain customer and you've sent someone in and they've nicked that customer who gives you good money, you can destroy someone else's business. Be a man or a woman. Go and get your own customers. Do it the right way. Don't be a dick. Simple as that. That's my 2 cents on that. And the last one, and probably the most important one, and it's the thing that is the hardest thing to do with doing this job. It's being away from your family. It's being away from your friends. It's being away from your loved ones. It's not being able to do the things you want to do all the time. Because you will work long hours. You will tramp. You'll be on the road a lot. You have to make sacrifices. I try and be at home as much as possible. I've got a young family. I want to be with them. I've put sort of safeguards in place, so there's certain days I won't work, or there's certain times the phone just gets turned off. I'm not going to be looking at it for work because I want to be with my family. As soon as I'm in the van and I'm on the road, I'm 100% business. But when I get out the van and it's family time, I'm 100% family. But it's the hardest thing. If you spent 2 nights tramping, your wife's saying, "Oh, I miss you." You've got the kids on the phone saying, "Love you, Daddy. When are you going to be back?" It pulls at those heartstrings, and it's hard. But you got to remember you're doing this for a reason. The other hard thing is obviously doing the things you love, like sport and hobbies. You might have to sacrifice them to do this job, which it's not great. You want to do those things, and the reason we work hard is to do the things we love, but sometimes you have to make them work around your business. Especially if you are self-employed like myself and you're doing this for yourself, you've got to make those sacrifices to make your business work. It's difficult, it's hard, but it's what you've got to do. So they are my 10 things I hate about the industry. There are more. There's things that piss me off. There's things that annoy me. There's probably more things that I hate, but they're the ones that come to mind when I'm thinking, what don't I like about my job? Don't get me wrong, things I like about my job, just as many, if not more. And if there's things that you don't like, please put them in the comments. Let us know what really annoys you. One Little bonus one, toilets at service stations. I hate toilets at service stations. I'm always in them and they're always bloody horrible. There you go, 11 things I hate about being a courier driver. But please, if you've liked this video, please like, comment and subscribe. Leave a comment about things that you hate about the industry. Leave a comment about things you love about the industry. Let's just have a good old chat about it. But as always, be safe out there and have a great day.